The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
This is the Eagles Sports Network. I'm William Meyer, joined by assistant cross-country coach Christian Brewer. Christian, coming up on Saturday, you guys are running at the UNC Asheville Cross Country Invitational. It's been about 3 weeks since you guys last raced. What has your team been doing to prepare for this upcoming race?
Yeah, we've been taking some big steps towards the upcoming race. I think the Tuscaloosa meet was very early on in the season. Weather was hot. The course was kind of tough. So yeah, we've been doing a lot, just kind of laying the foundation for what's to come to get ready for the conference meet in about a month. But yeah, I think we've definitely made some big steps towards this weekend.
Now, looking back at the Tuscaloosa meet, your men's team did fairly well. Luke Greer had a win, and Kelvin Rona had a top 3 finish as well. What can you say about the men's team moving forward into this week's meet?
Yeah, I'm pumped for the men. Luke, I think it's been a long time coming for him. He came out and joined us last year mid-season off the soccer team and showed that he had some potential, but didn't really have the training under his belt to make any headlines. But he had a good summer of training back home, and he came out and showed what he's got, and I think he's going to take another big step this weekend. It's going to be his first legitimate 8K, and he's going to run a huge personal best, and I think kind of establish himself as one of the favorites in the conference going into October. So, and then yeah, we've got Kelvin Rono that finished 3rd right behind him, and then not too far back was Amos Career, and it's going to be a solid top 3. Anthony Jackson's our senior captain, and he'll be a solid 4th. He struggled a little bit at Tuscaloosa, but he'll come through, and he's improved a lot since then. And then I think the biggest question with the guys is our 5th runner. We don't really have one right now. The guy we thought that was going to be it is injured, and we don't really know what's going to be going on. And so we had one stepped up and did pretty well. It's Cameron McKinley. Never ran cross country before and stepped up and ran well. And so I think that's the challenge I give them every time we get in that huddle before the race. I said we need a 5th guy to step up. I'm not worried about the 4. I'm worried about that 5th. So if we can find that, we're going to be pretty well.
Now, flipping over to the women's side, you had 4 finish inside the top 15 and 3 inside the top 10 at the Tuscaloosa Open. What can you say about the consistency of the women's team and the overall leadership that team possesses?
Yeah, the women are great. I love working with them. They're an awesome crew to work with on and off the cross country course. But they're fun to work with. One, because they have 6 or 7 girls that are just right there together, that train together every day, and it's fun to watch them. And then 2, they're tenacity, and they love the sport, and they love to be out there, and they're doing everything I say. So yeah, that close pack it's fun to watch them train. It's fun to watch them race because the first one comes through, and then a minute later they're all through, and you don't have to really wait around for them to be lagging behind. So that's fun.
Now, looking forward into this week's competition, one opponent that you're familiar with is South Atlantic Conference school Lenore Ryan. What can you say about getting to race them early on? I know you got to race Tuscaloosa and LMU earlier this season, but what is it getting to face those conference schools in earlier competition?
Yeah, that's the exciting part, and I think a lot of the other conference schools have been kind of going at it with each other early on, and Queens kind of showed some dominance this past weekend, and Wingate and Lenore Ryan have both shown what they're made of, and so is LMU, and we haven't really had that opportunity. I think this weekend's a good chance, especially definitely having Lenore Ryan there on the men's side. I think Lenore Ryan's 10th in the region right now, and they're not far ahead of us. So I think we can show them we're not far behind, and maybe sneak into that top 10 regional ranking next week. So.
Now, something else, more opponents that you guys are facing in this week's match are a few D1 schools. How are you feeling about your team matching up against the bigger schools?
Yeah, that's always good. It's always good to kind of look at a smaller school like ourselves and see how we match up against a bigger school and say, man, we're right up there with the guys who are in the Division I programs, and I think we're going to do pretty well. Western Carolina's been a decent cross-country school, and UNC Asheville is getting better, and they're the host. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to see how we match up with schools in our region, and then Milligan's an NAI school, but they're one of the better schools there. So it's going to be fun to match up against them as well.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
He's assistant cross-country coach Christian Brewer. I'm William Meyer, and this is the Eagles Sports Network.